Hello Gunners, welcome to another video. And Fabrizio Romano came out with an update a couple of hours ago, which kind of got my brain thinking, regarding an Arsenal player potentially leaving the club. And then there's been links to a potential replacement that has kind of been swept under the rug. There's a lot to talk about. Also, Eze and Rodrigo, the situation there. It's all really, really interesting. But before I begin, give this video a massive, massive thumbs up. It really helps. And hit the subscribe if you are new here. Quite a lot of you who do watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. But let us start with the Fabrizio Romano news. And as always, in the description, I will put the Fabrizio Romano sort of source and all of the information that I talk about in this video. But yeah, Fabrizio kind of said that Jakub Kiwior is available in a way. Arteta apparently doesn't want him to leave, but there was offers in July from clubs in Portugal that were rebuffed from Arsenal. But his situation is still open. Yes, that was the word he sort of used, open. And it got me thinking, Jakub Kiwior, I think, has impressed me in pre-season in terms of his on-the-ball stuff. There's been this sort of shift for Arsenal, especially with Gyökeres, in the way we want to play. We want to play quicker, we want to play over the top, we want to progress the ball faster. And Jakub Kiwior has shown his on-the-ball qualities in doing that. And then you've also got to think about the injury to Calafiori, how often he was injured last season. It throws you off. You're kind of thinking to yourself, do we really need to sell someone like Jakub Kiwior? Can we really bet on the fitness of Calafiori as our left centre-half? That's what I was generally thinking when I saw this link. I was thinking, great, we may get 50 million or 40 million or 30 million for Jakub Kiwior. But is that 30 million really going to constitute for an injury if Calafiori gets one, hopefully not next season, a big one? Because then you're left with Mosquera, who can play left centre-half really well and right centre-half really well. But outside of that, if Gabriel is injured as well, which he's currently struggling to get back to full fitness from this hamstring injury, we're in trouble. So really, Gunners, I want you to let me know down below, what's your thoughts? Are you on the Jakub Kiwior sell or keep? Before I continue on with this video, a massive, massive shout out as always to Dragon Jersey, who are sponsoring this video yet again. You can use code Fanatics, yes Fanatics, for 10% off at checkout. I highly recommend it. I've already got myself a couple of nice shirts from them. Arsenal from the past, Arsenal from the present. So get on there and get your shirt, but let's carry on with the video. There's been this link a couple of weeks ago and I've been getting a lot of stick on Twitter about it. Yeah, his name is Jacquet, I like to call him actually. Top young centre-half. He's 20 years old and he is a profile that I think Arsenal are missing. And I've made a tweet earlier, or TM Talksport if you follow, talking about Ousmane Diamonde. And a lot of Arsenal fans came at me and said, why Diamonde? We don't need Diamonde. What's the point in Diamonde? But the truth is, Mosquera is a phenomenal young centre-half. But he's not a true out-and-out profile replacement for a Saliba. His on-the-ball qualities are good, but not to those levels in which he can be a true centre-back in the middle when we're building up. That is my biggest problem with Mosquera, but he's really good as a wider centre-half, defending the channels. He's very good at that. He genuinely, 1v1 duels, ground duels, he's phenomenal. But centre-back, on the ball, where your responsibility is to be the head of the build-up to the levels of Saliba, we'd lose quite a lot putting Mosquera in that role. So that's why I thought Diamonde, a player Arsenal have tracked for a very long time, would be a great replacement for Kiwior, because he would give us that centre-back profile. He can play left centre-back as well, and he's just been a sought-after player. But then, like I said, this Jacquet guy that I always struggle with pronouncing these footballers' names came up. And it was from Nigel, I think he is. He's been quite a hit and miss source, but, other reports came out as well from France that Arsenal are looking at him as a 20-year-old centre-back, somebody who's quality on the ball, somebody who can also play right-back and DM. He looks quite the part. I've watched a couple of his games and he looks quite the part. He's only played 11 games in Ligue 1, but he has the ability to step up and develop into a true centre-back profile. I genuinely believe that he's a progressive passer. He wants to get the ball fast as possible to the other end of the pitch. His carrying skills are quite good as well. He's a big, big lad, by the way. And there was reports, okay, if Zinchenko leaves as well and Kiwior leaves, as I expect Zinchenko to leave, where does that leave Arsenal's back four? Because Lewis Skelly is really a midfielder. Come on, we can do this gimmick of a left back, but I don't think this is his true position. He can play to a high standard there, yes, But in terms of Arsenal and our attacking dynamics, we need an overlapping fullback as well. And this is a profile which is so crucial to Arsenal. We must do whatever we can to get this overlapping left-back profile at the club. I'm telling you right now. And Anthony Robertson of Fulham. I genuinely believe if Zinchenko leaves, if Kiwior leaves, Jacquet is an adequate replacement for Kiwior in terms of centre-back and can play left centre-back, can play right centre-back, Mosquera left centre-back, right centre-back. Then you would have Miles Lewis-Skelly and Calafiori as your left-back options. But then that's not good enough. Calafiori, counting on his fitness, like I've said, Miles Lewis-Skelly isn't really a proper left-back. Get an Anthony Robertson in. Get somebody a bit different there. You know, we really need to do this. And this brings me nicely onto my next point. And there's not been any links to Robinson, by the way. This is just me talking about what Arsenal need. There's not been any links to him. But if we get a Robinson, you look at your Rodrigos of this world and your Ezes of this world, players who operate better nearer to the inside of the pitch than on the touchline, we'd fly. Think about Kieran Tierney whenever you used to come on for Arsenal, how impactful he looked. You almost felt, wow, why are we letting Tierney go? And this is ridiculous because Tierney, I think physically has really regressed. But you could just see Arsenal needs somebody to hold that width so people can be in the box centrally. Our left winger can be more in the box. And Martinelli thrives more in the box. Our Rodrigo coming in would thrive more in the box. And Eze would thrive more inside the pitch centrally. It all just points to Arsenal getting an overlapping fullback. You know, it genuinely does. And it sounds ridiculous because we've already spent £197 million. You know, but that £197 million, guys, if we're looking at our lineup, it doesn't change much. Maybe Gyökeres in for Havertz as the number 9. But outside of that, we've been banging on about needing a top quality left winger for a while. We haven't replaced Raheem Sterling. Arsenal Football Club have not replaced Raheem Sterling. That would be a travesty. And I still expect Leandro Trossard to leave the club, meaning Martinelli and Madueke. I guess you could say Madueke is the Sterling replacement. But again, we've got to be realistic here. When was the last time Mikel Arteta used a left-footed player on the left wing? And I know he wanted Rafinha and he probably had the idea to play him there. But this is a manager who is quite adverse to drastic changes in dynamics like that. So I think Madueke is a right winger who will get left wing minutes. He can play that, of course. But there's a true replacement for Raheem Sterling and the Trossard who I expect to leave. We haven't done it yet. It's been reported by Ben Jacobs as well that he's seen more as a 10. He's genuinely seen more as a 10. So genuinely, Arsenal fans, this was just a nice chat talking about Kiwior and Eze and Rodrigo and the overlapping fullback. Let me know your thoughts. I'm genuinely very, very interested to know.